right, you're listening to Geek Vice, the official sponsor of the 1939 New York's World Fair. Isn't it kind of funny you never hear about World's Fairs anymore?
What isn't that the what's special about the 1939 World Fair?
Well, the movie Men in Black.
Oh, okay. I
Isn't
was
that the
thinking
one
it
with
was.
the spaceships on the towers that the giant cockroach tried to take off the planet?
Hell, I don't know.
You never do see movies, do you?
Hell, I haven't seen Men in Black in a long time. I thought there was something like that's where hot dogs were invented or something.
That could be.
There was
That
some
could
fair
be.
in St. Louis where the waffle cone got invented, but I don't think that was 1939.
Yeah.
Anyway, what we're really here for is Geek Vice, episode number 67, a podcast by two geeks just trying to be heard in a world now flooded with geeks. My name's Morph. I'm your bartender for the zombie apocalypse that's not even drinking. And that man over there is Kip, a man boldly going from the couch to the kitchen and back again. Good evening, Kip.
Good evening. I can't even say I'm been a couch guy. As you can see, I'm wearing my ratty sweatshirt because I went to the gym after work. Holy cow! It's the sky is falling.
Oh, no kidding, man. I bought a gym membership here a couple weeks ago. I have yet to be to the gym, so
I signed up on Saturday. I've gone twice. So
there you go. That's the way to do it.
yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Plus, the people watching is the whole reason you go to the gym, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, there's the diehard people who are actually there to work out and get healthy. There's the people that are just there so everybody can see them.
But I've heard if you really want to do people watching, the time you should go to the gym is like 10 o'clock in the morning.
I don't
Because
think my
that's
boss would like that.
probably not. But that's when you get the guys in there. That's when you get the guys in there that think they're badasses but don't actually have a job. So they're trying to lift huge amounts of weight, but there's nobody in there to see them because they think they're a badass. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what
I'll
I've been
give you
told,
that.
at least. I don't know. I don't go to the gym, so.
Well, we'll see how long this lasts. Right now, I'm gung ho.
Yeah. So, let's just jump right in. We got a couple of really good topics here, and we've got some really good roundtable topics to talk about. So I'm gonna let you start off, Mr. Kip, with your gigantic list of movies that you went and saw.
Well, one of us actually makes it to the movie theater, and that would be me. And we'll start off with the furthest one back. We went and saw Jupiter Ascending on opening day. And what I can tell you about that movie is the CGI is fantastic. My wife loved the soundtrack. Visually, it is just one of the most appealing movies you'll ever see. Unfortunately, I think the script was written in crayon because some of these lines, I actually was embarrassed for the actors having to say them.
No. Oh,
But with all that said, I did enjoy the movie. I had a good time with it. It was one of those movies, though. If you could mute just the dialogue, I think you'd be okay. You would say, yeah, all right.
Oh, so if it was a silent film, it would be good.
It may work. That way, there are certain scenes where it's cringe-worthy. I don't want to give anything away, but when she first finds out Mila Kunis' character, whose name is Jupiter, when Jupiter first finds out that she's royalty, the way she finds out, you're like, holy shit, this is bad. How did this get by so many people that it made it into the movie? But, wow, yeah. It's like you spent a shit ton of money on special effects and costumes and blah, 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 and you spent $2 on the script. Shame on you.
Okay, so tell me, is this a Geek Vice official go see it in the theaters before it's out? Wait for it to come out and rent it, or just steal it for free?
I'm going to put caveats on that. If you're a critical movie watcher, don't even waste your money. Steal it. I'm going to say steal it. If you're easily entertained like myself, go see it in the theater. The 3D is pretty spectacular.
Okay.
And there's some battle scenes, especially in the beginning, that are like, this is really cool. They did a nice job with this. So like I said, if you're easily entertained, you'll get a big kick out of that part of it. Plus, it's Mila Kunis. I mean, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
So if you don't mind bad lines, poor script writing, go see it in the theater. If you're overly critical of movies and want perfection, don't waste your time.
All right. Because that's one that I really want to see, and if nothing else, the visual effects I really want to see in the theater. So if I can convince my wife that that's the one we can go see, then maybe I'll actually get to see that one. I gotta find some free time, but
yeah, I'm sure that's at a premium for you. But here, this will help you. Take the what's that bath in DC Comics that it's like the Fountain of Youth kind of a thing.
The Lazarus Pit.
There you go. Take that. Add the scene from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy where they're trying to get the presidential prisoner release form done.
Okay.
And then take the wedding scene from the 1980s Flash Gordon.
Oh, Jesus.
And put them together in that order. You've got Jupiter Ascending.
I'm in. Oh, you sold me.
I'm watching the movie going, holy shit, that's from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And then the next scene's like, this is damn near exactly the wedding scene in Flash Gordon. Holy shit. So I don't know if they just stole these ideas or it was supposed to be...
They're homages.
Homages, but it's like, wow, this is blatant. But I'm good with it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm sure people who have a more extensive memory of movies probably could pick out other scenes that are from other movies. But, yeah. In fact, when she finds out she's royalty, I was like, man, this farm kind of reminds me of the farm from Signs. So M. Night Shyamalan and Ding Dong could have had a hand in this. I don't know.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I think we could probably take about 20 DVDs and pull out different scenes and smash them together and make Jupiter Ascending.
Good to know. Good to know. We'll have to try that one out.
Yeah. And so the next day, we went and saw The Seventh Son. Jeff Bridges, Julianne Moore, can't speak. Sword and Sorcery. You've seen the movie before.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those, the chosen one kid has to fight off, has to learn from the master, which is Jeff Bridges, who has to fight off evil, and of course his love interest is on the wrong side, and blah, blah, blah. You've seen the movie. It's worth seeing it for Jeff Bridges alone. He just chews up scenery. He is fantastic, and he totally played the part over the top, which just works. And so, again, if you're overly critical of a movie, don't bother. But if you're easily entertained, you could probably get it on DVD from the library or something. It's worth it for that. Holy cow, my wife is drinking whiskey.
Uh-oh. She all right?
Aaron wants to know if you're okay. She just grinned at me, so that's not good. Now she's throwing shit at me. So, Seventh Son kind of plotted, as Holly put it. Plodded along. It didn't pick up any speed. It didn't really slow down. It just was a steady pace throughout the whole movie. Holly was bored, started thinking about other things, but I was entertained. I had a good time with it.
All right.
So, yeah, just like Jupiter Ascending, I won't give it a thumbs up or thumb down. I'll just give it a thumb sideways. But decent enough. Watch it for Jeff Bridges.
Scenery.
All right.
Scenery wasn't bad.
So what was the other movie you went and saw there, Mr. Kip?
And then the following week, we went and saw Kingsman: The Secret Service. Colin Firth plays it's a spy movie, and it stars Colin Firth, some kid named Taron something or other. Because I'm really good at names. Taron Egerton is the kid, and Samuel L. Jackson is the villain, which is interesting. And it's basically a spy movie that does not bring anything new to the table, but it is so much fun. It's the best movie of the three, and I highly recommend going and seeing that. It's got just the right amount of humor, right amount of action, and Colin Firth makes wearing a suit very cool. And it's got good gadgets, and it's just a blast.
So is the Kingsman more James Bond or more Get Smart?
It's a mix. It probably leans more to James Bond.
Okay.
But it has a little bit of Get Smart's tongue-in-cheekness.
Okay.
What I would say is, like I said, it doesn't bring you anything you haven't seen before. It's the kid who doesn't realize where he's from, gets this medal that his dad earned that he didn't know anything about, and basically it's his key into this world, and and then it kind of goes X-Men First Class, where he's with all these other people who are in the same situation, and they got to earn their way onto the team.
Right.
And you get by all that. Samuel L. Jackson played a really good part. Guy with a bad speech impediment, but he still dropped the F-bombs, which I appreciated.
I'm pretty sure he can't. I think that's written into his contract that he has to be able to drop that.
I bet his contract even has the F-bombs in it.
Yeah, you're probably
That's
right.
the beauty of it. But, and it's, you root for the kid. You actually like the characters. Some of the action scenes are some of them are done in a way you've never seen before. That's the beauty of that movie.
Yeah.
There's a scene, we'll just call it the fireworks scene. I'm not going to give anything away. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But, Marv, you got to go see this movie and then tell me what you think of the fireworks scene.
Okay.
Yeah. If out of all three of those, the one I would recommend going and seeing is The Kingsman. It's just fantastic. It's a hell of a lot of fun, and in fact, I'd see it again. So you go. That's we'd actually need like theme music for that. Dun, 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 dun. Kip's movie reviews.
There you go. Man. That's out of. Like, all three of those movies I kind of want to see, and it sounds like the one that I really need to go see is The Kingsman.
You do. Plus, they're going to be, I think it comes out next month, but I think they're starting a comic book run based on The Kingsman.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Either a comic book run or a graphic novel. I can't remember which. I think it's a graphic novel now that I think about it. But because of the movie was so good, I will probably purchase this graphic novel. I know I know. I
That's
never buy these things.
incredible. Hell is going to freeze over twice now.
It is.
That is cool. I will definitely have to put those on my list and see if I can't at least get to go see one of those movies in the theater.
Yeah, maybe you'll actually get to see, the Kingsman before Kingsman 2 comes out.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if they're planning on doing or not.
Oh, I'm sure there will be. If this movie did that good, I am sure it will be.
Yeah, it's worth it. Find a way to go see it, Morph. You'll like it.
All right. Well, I might not be able to get out to the movie theaters, but I do sit at home and play a lot of video games.
No.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise. So there was a Steam sale just this last weekend. Maybe it was last week. Another Steam sale. And I had heard about these games written and created by Penny Arcade, Gabe and Tycho. They made these games, and I'd heard there was 4 of them out there, and I played the first one on the Xbox. It was one of the arcade versions, or I played like a demo of it, and it was okay. Kind of a little more complicated than I really wanted to deal with, so I never ended up purchasing that one. Plus, it was a little more expensive. It was like $15 on the Xbox, and for a downloadable game, that seemed way high for me. Then there was episode 2, and I'd heard that one they kind of went in a direction they didn't really feel with the gameplay that didn't end up working out real well. I just didn't hear a whole lot of good things about it, so I just kind of ignored it. Again, expensive to get on the Xbox before I had a computer that could play games. But Steam had episodes 3 and 4 on sale for the 2 of them together were 95 cents. Like, you know what? There is no reason for me not to buy 2 games for 95 cents. And I now, after playing, I've played about 3 hours in the third game. This is definitely a game I would spend more than $1 on.
I don't know if that's a great recommendation or not.
No, this one's really good, and you know what? After playing this much of it, and kind of, I don't know if it's being able to play it on a computer screen or now I'm at a little bit different time in my life where I don't have to play through things quickly, and it does have a lot of text boxes. There is a lot into the story of it, and Gabe did a lot of the art for this from Penny Arcade, and Tycho did all the writing, or a lot of the writing for this, and you can tell by the way it plays. The art on it it's 8-bit graphic-y. It's like a Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VI type graphics. It's nothing spectacular. It's not going to cause your computer to just spin and spin or cause, be a humongous download for an Xbox game. It is available on iOS and Android, and so it could definitely play on those. But you got to be willing to read, because if you're not going to read the story, you're not going to get the full effect of this thing. The writing is hilarious. It's the jokes that they put in there. They're very dry sense of humor. If you enjoy their webcomic and the jokes that they have in their webcomics, you will enjoy the writing in this game. It's not nearly as crude, or at least not yet, as some of their webcomics. So there's so far I haven't run into anything called a fruit fucker or penis cookies or anything like that they have on their webcomic. So,
but we can always dream.
And they might still be there. I'm only 3 hours in. I have no idea how long this game is, but it is a lot of fun. It There's different characters they bring in. It's very, again, it's very Final Fantasy-esque, except the battle sequence, the way they do the battle is actually really, I enjoy it a lot. It's still turn-based, so you've got kind of a timeline at the top of your battle that tells you who you're commanding, like who you're going to issue a command to, and then there's still a little time before they have to act. So you pick the command, and then based off their speed, depends on how fast that character moves throughout the timeline. So, but the biggest thing, or the biggest difference to this that I really like, and I almost wish kind of some of the Final Fantasy games had this, is you have, in order to do an attack or a special attack, you collect MP. They don't really call it anything other than just MP. But each turn that you go, if you don't spend an MP, you get 1 MP. So, on your first turn, when your turn comes up, you get 1 MP. You can do a special move that uses that, or you can just do a standard basic attack and save that MP, and then so on your next turn you'll have 2. And so some of your stronger attacks might take 2 or 3 MP to do, or you can do weak basic attacks over and over again. And it's really kind of, it adds a little bit to it, so that you can kind of, it adds a element of strategy to what you're doing, so you can say, okay, well, this person's coming up right here, but if I can do this attack for using no MP, and maybe use this one that has one to get rid of that guy. It just kind of, I don't know, it just changes it up a little bit instead of your standard just hit A and attack. Like sometimes you get roped into with some of
button mashing there.
Yeah, like some of those type of games. So,
well, our buddy Trevor thinks MP stands for monkey points.
It very well could be. Very well.
And he wants to know how he can get some
monkey points.
I guess he has to download the game.
He does. Download the game. Go to Steam and download it. You could probably still get it for, I think, full price for those games, I believe were, they might have been $3 for each game. Still super cheap and well worth, like these games are well worth $3. They're a lot of fun. So I'm going to play through, and you don't have to have played episodes 1 or 2 to play episode 3. They fill you in on what's going on. They really aren't, they're not necessarily sequels. They're more just like what they are, episodes. So episode 1 is one battle, episode 2 is one storyline, episode 3 is another storyline. Same characters, same setting, same scenarios, just a different time in their life, and they kind of tell you what they did in the previous episodes. So
nice.
Works really good. So I got to give these guys credit. These games came out a long time ago, a couple of years ago, and I feel bad for not picking this up earlier, but I've picked it up now and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm gonna go tell everybody to go get it.
Do it now.
Do it. So you're just gonna need to start downloading computer games there, Kip.
Yeah, because I have all this time on my hands.
Yeah, of course.
I probably have more time on my hands than you do, so I guess I can't say anything.
Yeah, well, at 9, 10 o'clock at night, where I'm either recording a podcast or playing a computer game, so.
I'm usually asleep.
So, since we're on the topic of video games.
Yes.
There was this article a little while back on IGN. It was an opinion article on how you can put a stop to broken video games. And,
Step 1, don't buy one?
Yeah, pretty much. You know,
Really?
I've kind of been noticing this trend here lately, and it's part of the reason. Well, it's part of the reason that some of the games that I want to get, I'm not buying uh, the day they come out. I'm waiting a little bit because it seems to be more frequently now games are being put out before they're ready. They're being released before they're ready. So you go to the store and you buy, um, the last Assassin's Creed game that I got, which was Black Flag. I bought that game, and then day one had I want to say it was a 120 megabyte download patch to put in on the day it came out. Well, you know, that might not sound like a big deal, but to me, that's a video game that wasn't ready to come out. If it's not ready to come out, don't put it out. You know, what happened to the days of, I think the game manufacturers have gotten a little spoiled in the sense that they can do that because, back in the days of cartridges, they couldn't do that. Hell, back in the first PlayStation days, if the game wasn't ready, you couldn't put it out because there's no way for them to get an update for that game.
Yeah, I think the ease on which you can set those things out has kind of made them lazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. And, it kind of, I don't know. Do you feel that we're getting into the same problem with, I don't see the problem so much with computer games, but I'm not really buying anything brand new on the computer. And most computer games come out weeks or months after they've come out on a console. But it seems to be pretty prevalent with console games anymore.
Yeah. Mostly what I get is Call of Duty and things like that, and there's always a patch. And I get a lot of games from the library to try them out before I buy them,
Mm-hmm.
and inevitably there's downloads. First time you drop that thing in the player, you got to download some sort of patch, some big deal. And it doesn't sound like much, but you play enough games, that fills up that hard drive, and that pisses me off.
Well, and also on top of that, I mean, it's like there's nothing I hate more than getting a game in the mail or go picking a game up the day that I want to play it, and my kids finally have gone to bed. I'm like, all right, I can finally play this game. I put it in the Xbox, and then it's, we've got to download this patch, and then we have to install this patch, and 20, 30 minutes later, it's finally done, and I can start playing. Well, like I said before, I don't start playing my games till 9 o'clock at night. I mean, I don't want to spend a lot of the, a good... Sometimes your good games, sometimes your good story-driven games have a lot of intro work to do before you can actually get playing anyway. Or, the Assassin's Creed games or even the Fable games, they have a playable tutorial basically at the beginning to kind of walk you through what the controls are. Well, that takes some time to get through before you get into the meat of the story. So it might be like that first day that I'm playing the game, I might be bored out of my mind just on that first day, because I spent half my time downloading and installing a patch that should have been included in the game from the beginning.
Well, and you're like me, you don't have unlimited time to play a game. Usually you're sneaking it in after everybody else has gone to bed, so
Yeah.
You need to maximize your time, and if it's all used up downloading a patch, it's kind of defeated the whole purpose of having the free time.
Yeah, and it's frustrating to me. And the article, the opinion article, they don't tell you. They're very good about not bashing any. They don't call out any developer, any publisher, or anything like that. They They keep it very generic, but I mean, they pretty much come to the same opinion that I have, and it's just, hey, if somebody fails to deliver the quality that you expect in one game, don't buy the next game, because that's the only way they're going to learn. If people keep buying all of the stuff that they, everything that comes out, whether it's completed or not, they're going to keep doing what they're doing because somebody keeps saying, looking at the bottom line and going, hey, this thing made a ton of money. So, I just kind of put that out there for people to start, I don't know, pay a little bit closer attention to, and put your money where, let your money do your talking, basically.
Yeah, I agree with that. We do, as consumers, believe it or not, we do have some control, and that control is really our only control is you either purchase or you don't.
Yeah.
So I think that is sound advice. If you don't like it, let them know with your wallet being closed. I guess is the best way to put that.
Yeah. Yeah, and this article kind of, this article is not new. I mean, the date on this article is January 19th, so it's a month old, but it still kind of rings true, and it kind of brought up an interesting. I started thinking about this article when I read a article in The Guardian, which is a UK newspaper that has a US edition to it. And this, I gotta say, The Guardian has quickly become my go-to for news. It's got some interesting articles in it, especially when it comes to geek and pop culture stuff. But they had a nice little interview with Peter Molyneux about his new game called Goddess. And for those of you that don't know Peter Molyneux, he has been developing games since, the mid-'80s. He is a designer, a programmer, a producer, does everything. He was involved in some of the games back in the late 80s, early 90s that were huge. Some of the first God-themed games like Populous and Populous 2. He is also the creator. He had the concept and lead designer for Black and White, which was Lionhead Studios' first game, and it was I don't know, did you ever hear of Black and White, Kip?
I have not. I'm looking it up now.
This game is very, it is a God game. You play as God, and your avatar is a animal type creature. So that's who all the little people in the world that you really kind of just influence worship your creature, and you can walk around. It was hilariously fun to play because one of the creatures you could be is a giant cow, so that's always fun. But you can as the god, you can smack around your avatar, your creature, which will make him either really angry and kind of make you become an evil god, or you could be really, really nice and make him a good god. You can tell your avatar, your creature, to pick up the worshippers, your followers, and eat them or throw them, and it was all this was long before any touch screens, but it was all motion control from your mouse. So if you wanted to call down a rain cloud to water some crops, you would move your mouse in a certain fashion, and it would cause a rain cloud to show up. If you wanted to create a tornado to go to war with another another tribe. You can move your mouse in a certain spiral motion, and it would cause a tornado to appear. It was really, really cool. They did a really good job with it. And, you know, so this guy knows what he's doing when it comes to God games. He's made some really amazing God games. He's made some really incredible games other than that, too, like Fable and Fable 2, which are excellent games in their sense. But it kind of just goes back to, we'll go back to here and talk about Goddess. Goddess was a kick-started game and was funded at the December 21st of 2012. And it's another, it's a God type game, much like Black and White or Populous. However, this game was supposed to have been developed in 7 to 9 months. They do put the caveats in their risks and everything in Kickstarter that it could take longer with the rewards and the stretch goals and all that stuff, that it could take longer. However, we're now in February of 2015, and this game is still yet to been officially released.
I think they were counting on the world ending on December 21st, 2012.
I think you're right. And people have been pretty upfront with Peter Molyneux. He's always been available to the public. He's always, he's on Twitter. He's always done interviews and that kind of stuff. But he's starting to catch some backlash from this thing because it didn't it hasn't been released. They did put out a mobile version of the game, like a iOS or Android version of the game, but that's not what the Kickstarter was for.
No, you want more for your 22 million euros than that.
Yeah.
Is it euros or pounds? I can't remember.
Well, the Kickstarter was done in pounds.
Yeah, okay, 22 million pounds.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. So it's just kind of, it kind of goes back to reading this article about Peter Molyneux and this failed, God game. And it's sad to call it failed because I'm not sure that it's actually failed. It's just hasn't been released yet. They haven't.
It's just late.
Yeah, they haven't stopped working on it. It's still supposed to be coming, but a lot of the staff that was working on it, Molyneux says, is being moved to other projects, and he himself is kind of stepping away from it and putting somebody else in charge of it, and that cannot be a good sign.
No, that sounds like, the swan song, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I guess we'll just have to sit back and wait and see what happens. But after reading this article and reading the IGN article about broken games, Peter Molyneux's he's not new to this broken promise thing. He promised a particular game with Fable, and he didn't deliver exactly what he had promised. Still a good game, but not exactly what he promised. He promised things for Fable 2 and didn't. Well, I think he I don't know, he might have lived up to those a little bit more. He might have backed
Fable
down.
2 was my favorite out of all of his library.
Yeah, mine too.
That was a great game.
So, I mean, he's no stranger to making bold predictions, and some of that could be chalked up to this idea of just building up hype for his games and getting people excited. That gets them buying the games whether they're good or not. But you know, some of it could be, I don't know. His broken promises has got me to not buy Goddess yet. There is a pre-sale or an early access version that you can buy through Steam, that gets you into the beta, basically the beta version and the bug testing version of the game. And I've heard really good things about it. But you know what? I'm not willing to spend the $15, I think is what it is for the game on Steam, for a game that I don't know if it'll ever get finished. And you know, that's, I don't know, I think that's kind of sad.
It's kind of sad. That's a huge risk that not a lot of people are willing to take.
Well, and you know, I don't follow a whole lot of, I mean, I'm not involved in every Kickstarter campaign out there.
What?
But, yeah, me, the guy who doesn't spend money on anything. But I'm wondering if this could be the first official, or at least the first publicly well-known successful Kickstarter that fails. And what does that do to the Kickstarter landscape?
That's a damn good question. You know, I was talking about that with some people at work, and you know, the only Kickstarters that I have funded are through people I actually know.
Yeah.
And I talked to another guy at work, and he's done quite a few. He hasn't been burnt on any, but he's had a few that just never made it to,
Right.
you know, they just didn't get funded or they canceled them. But I don't know anybody personally who's been burned yet by Kickstarter. I'm sure it's coming. Hopefully it's not me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, looking at the Kickstarter on here, you got 92 backers in the lowest one. You got 359 backers in the $10 version. $5,000 or 5,000 people in the 15. Well, I guess that's 15-pound version. You know, there's a lot of backers here that are gonna get left out in the cold. Their money's been spent, and they're not going to get anything for it.
Yeah.
And you know, what's that going to do? I mean, you're looking at a total of over 17,000 backers. You know, that's a lot of pissed off people.
That's a hell of a lot of pissed off people. And yeah, granted, you know, $35, $40, $50 doesn't sound like a ton of money, but to the individual person, it could be a hell of a lot of money.
Well, and you've got 5 backers on here for 999 pounds. You've got 3 backers in here for, you know, 2,000 pounds. 5 backers for 5,000 pounds. That's a lot of money. And yeah, maybe to those people, maybe they don't care. You know, maybe they're just like, you know, hey, it happens. But not me. If I would have put money into this thing and they're floundering like they are now and I haven't gotten what I've been promised, I'd be pissed.
Hell yeah.
And, you know, it's curious. I'm curious to see what Kickstarter does, because they're going to feel the backlash from this. This is public. I mean, this is well known. This is making it into, national and world newspapers. You know, the Kickstarter is just a small comment in the newspaper, but, you know, what are they going to do to, are these people that have backed this project, are they going to be scared to back another game project? Or, you know.
Yeah, I just hope that's not the case. I mean, I think people go into it knowing there's a little bit of risk, but I think they also want to think that something that high profile, the risk should be a hell of a lot less, and then that's the one that fails. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of different thoughts next time some of these people go to back something. At least I would. You know, I just hope it doesn't really hurt the whole crowdsourcing thing, because I think that's one of the best things that's hit the internet in a while. And I just hope this doesn't damage it.
Yeah, me too. I mean, we've had some good things come out of Kickstarter, some things that I've got that I enjoy, like my tricked out hero that's sitting up there, and Flapjacks and Sasquatches that are, that we should be getting, I don't know, what, couple months?
Yeah, something like that.
So, yeah, it's, there's good things that come out of it. So I hope that this doesn't hurt Kickstarter as a whole, and I can't see it hurting the overall thing, but it's definitely going to be a black eye, and not that Kickstarter had any control over this. They're going to be just the unfortunate people that catch some of the backlash, because I don't know.
Well, their name is right there in the forefront.
Yeah, and I would like to see some backlash on Peter Molyneux and 22 Cans, his studio, the same kind of backlash there was on Curt Schilling and the game that he funded and made, and he didn't even use Kickstarter. Instead, he just tried to put out a game and went broke and tried to borrow money from the city and ended up going bankrupt. That, nobody said he was a genius businessman, but I really enjoyed his video game. So,
well, there you have it.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see if we ever get Goddess or a final version of Goddess. So.
Or at least an official anything on it.
Yeah.
I think they're hoping it just quietly goes away, but I don't think
I don't think that's going to happen. Not with the kind of buzz it's gotten now. I don't know.
And the amount of money that's involved.
Yeah. But all right, so I think that'll do it for tonight.
Looks that way.
Any last words there, Mr. Kip?
Go see the Kingsman. Do it.
Do it.
Take your headphones off now. Go.
Run to your local movie store. Theater.
Movie store. Must be late.
Whew, yeah. So you can check out our blog at geekvice.blogspot.com. You can follow us on Google Plus Geekvice, Facebook, search for Geekvice. You can follow Kip on Twitter at Kip Killigan. That's KIPKILLAGIN.
And then for you, there it is, right there. There it is. Okay.
There it is on the screen. And for those of you that want to follow me, you can follow me at Geekvice. And if you don't know how to spell that, you're going to have a hard time searching for us on Facebook. It's Geekvice. Thanks, everyone, for listening to our ramblings. And if you want to comment on any of the stuff or tell us why you think Kingsman is a crappy movie and we shouldn't go see it in the theater, or if you want to tell me why I'm a idiot for not getting on Penny Arcade's video game so much earlier, you can email us at geekvice@gmail.com. And we will see you next week. Hi, kitty.
Later. Nick, say hi.
Ya.
Bye.